Our first taste of GOONJ work was in Solapur, at a school for disadvantaged children with learning difficulties. The school was supported by GOONJ, but was set up by a husband and wife team who had sold absolutely everything they owned to start the school. About 40 children are taught to wash, dress, feed themselves and work by 12 teachers and 10 volunteers. The welcome we were given was bursting with energy and joie de vivre. It's impossible not to be touched.
We sold everything to start this school. I used to have a farm of about 7.5 acres. I sold that, my car, my bicycle, everything I could lay my hands on. Even my wife's jewellery was sold. We don't care about earning money. Nothing matters more than these children for us. We just want to make sure that they're happy, looked after and well educated, and maybe then they'll have some sort of future.
Backwards. Yep.
What seems to be the problem, Alan?
Well, we don't yet know. We've done a check on the tires. The tires are all fine, and we've done a visual tire check and moved any stones, and there's nothing else embedded in there that we can see. So the tires are all right, which is good news. Started to do a visual check on the belt because we're worried as to whether the vibration is because of the belt. So we're going to whip the cover off now and look down into it and see whether that tells us anything or not.
So when did the vibration start?
After we came out of the special needs school. So
The rough road.
and well, it was a shitty road, dreadful road. And I may have been deluding myself, I can't tell, but it just didn't seem to be running as smoothly. And I couldn't tell what the problem was. So we're going to do the visual check, make sure there's nothing obviously loose, do the same at the front, and we'll run it up and down here and see what I think.
All seemed well after the checkup, so the guys decided the poor fuel quality was making the engine run a bit rough. Little did we know how significant this was to become later in the trip. But blissfully unaware of what the future might hold, we put more fuel additive in and headed off to Hyderabad.
So how's the car running?
The problem seems to have eased. So we're going to have to step back, we're going to have to organise fuel additive, make sure we got that right. It's obviously right at the limit of the engine tuning. And we know that the compartments for the fuel can distort the way in which the fuel's distributed. So a bit of a thing, really. Can we go to the loop, please?
Okay.
Queen Bee's turning circle is not the best, which meant wrong slots needed 3-point turns. And of course people were jostling for position in cars and motorbikes to get a good look at Queen Bee and take selfies. I was impressed that Alan handled it so well, especially as we were still getting used to sitting in the Morgan for mile after mile. Driving standards were varied too, to say the least. Undertakings allowed, and it didn't take us long to get used to being cut up by cars, motorbikes and even buses trying to get photos. Most nerve-wracking were the drivers that leaned out of their cabs to try and get selfies with the car.
So the traffic, we've come into Hyderabad and the traffic is absolutely insane. Queen Bee is buzzing along quite happily and Alan and Pat are sitting in the car without realising what's going on around them. So they've got the protection of the car in front and the rear car, so they don't see a lot of what's happening. What we're seeing, and we've got video footage of, is tuk-tuk drivers leaning out to take selfies and jostling with each other to try and get the best picture. We've got taxis, we've got trucks, we've got buses, we've got school buses. Everyone wants to get a picture, everyone wants to have a go, everyone wants to wave. And the result is complete chaos and carnage behind the car that of course the driver can't see. So Alan's probably thinking it's all perfectly calm and wonderful. What he doesn't know is what's going on behind him.
So how was today, guys? Just quickly.
Somebody told me, the day, quite hard work, long drive. We started a bit late because of looking at the car.
But it's quite speedy.
The roads in Maharashtra are much worse than the roads in whatever state we're in now. I'm very confused about that. But basically, I had one of the longest drives we'd ever scheduled to do, and I proved I could do it.
We've got one more that's longer.
I proved I could do it on my own. So, which is important to me.
Okay.
So I can rise to the challenge.
And the car ran okay?
Car, after we got rid of the blotchiness with a bit of fuel additive, absolutely super.
Smoothly.
A rest day in Hyderabad gave us the chance to visit the GOONJ headquarters for the area and have a good look round the sorting centre, where they put together family kits which are earned by villagers through work on projects.
We were talking to the GOONJ team and I asked them what systems they used. And it was astonishing to learn that GOONJ pretty much runs on WhatsApp. And they have a WhatsApp group for everything. It's amazing because you could imagine no Western business functioning in that way. But it's also a really sensible idea. They communicate their requirements between offices. They communicate their supply. They communicate on issues and they coordinate. And there are multiple WhatsApp groups which get formed and disbanded depending on the issues that they're coping with.
Then it was off to see the British Deputy High Commissioner Dr. Andew Fleming and his wife, who made a delicious lunch for us all.
Everybody here at the British Deputy High Commission is really delighted that Alan and Pat Braithwaite have decided to come to Hyderabad as part of the Trans-India Challenge. And what makes this story all the more remarkable, of course, is their Indian heritage, which I've been learning about over a lovely lunch. Understanding what India means particularly to Alan. I just think this is a fantastic story. Alan is a legend. He's somebody that doesn't say but does, and that Alan is very much cast of the same mould as GOONJ, a charity that he's elected to support and hopefully raise something in the region of £200,000 for.
We'd already been attracting some attention from the Indian media since the start of our trip, but by Hyderabad it had started to ramp up, and we were pleasantly grilled by a sizable group of journalists who turned up at the Fleming's residence wanting to know all about Queen Bee and what we were doing driving across India.